You can be a part of history.
We want to hear your pandemic story.
The New York Public Library wants you, to submit your story about the coronavirus pandemic. Curator Julie Golia explains.
Pandemic Diaries is a new initiative launched by the New York Public Library where we ask people to record audio files of their experiences during the COVID-19 pandemic and then submit them to become part of the library's research collections. So we welcome stories on anything having to do with the pandemic, which is so many things, of course. Experiences of trauma and loss, healthcare, experiences in hospitals and with doctors. What has happened with families? How has education been reshaped during this period? The way that the pandemic has intersected with experiences of activism and protests against racial injustice, and so many more different kinds of stories. Anything that is about COVID and people's experiences in COVID, we want to hear it.
The Diaries Project is open to anybody, anywhere, age 18 and over.
It's really important for people to understand that history is not just about the experiences of politicians or leaders, but that it's really about the everyday experiences of citizens. And these are the stories that we want to capture. And so I think everyday people considering submitting to this should know that their stories are the key and the essential ones that we will need in the future.
The recordings people submit will be available to historians and researchers for years, maybe even centuries.
Each story that a person gives is going to be a completely unique holding in our collection. And we have the capacity to make these available to millions of researchers in the future. So far, we've gotten a number of really interesting stories told, I will know, in a number of different languages. And so that is also something we want to make really clear to people, is that we welcome stories in many different languages, whatever people are most comfortable speaking in. And we've heard actually a number of memorials to people who lost loved ones. We've heard the telling of a number of different workers in different fields, from essential workers to healthcare workers to people working in education. And I think the thing that is the through line for the stories that we've received so far is that they're personal stories. And it makes a real difference hearing them from the people who've actually experienced them.
So how does it work?
We wanted to make the Pandemic Diaries submission process as simple as possible for people. And so on the website where people will go to submit their stories, we have very clear directions on how to do it. It takes people usually less than 30 minutes start to finish to record their story and then to submit it. Essentially, you record your story, your audio recording of your story on your phone or your computer using the built-in Voice Memos app that is on most computers.
Then you go to nypl.org/pandemic diaries and submit it. You have until November 18th to send in your story for phase 1 of the Pandemic Diaries project. This is Inside Edition Digital.